Hi, I'm Discipline Dave, and we're here today to discuss what to eat. And I have a special guest today, my lovely wife, Monique.
Hi.
Well, I want to bring my wife on board because I think a lot of people feel that there's a difference when it comes to gender of what to eat, when it comes to getting that nice physique that we all want. And so Monique and I, we've been pretty fit for how many years now? We've been going consistently in the gym.
I would say it is 3 years now.
3 years. And so we've gone through a cycle of getting better in shape and also reaching higher levels about what we eat. And one of the things is that Monique kind of fails to realize is that she took me to another level. Training her really made me go to this extra step. A lot of it was I couldn't be a hypocrite. When you have somebody with you that you're training, it was like hard for me to eat bad food and tell her to do the right thing, and I wasn't. And also, she was just starting out when it comes to going to the gym. So I had to retrain myself from the beginning to teach her the proper techniques because I love her so much and I didn't want her to get hurt. And so for me, I had to re-educate myself to the basics. And that right there, that foundation that I built with the basics really took me to another level. And so we just wanted to discuss some of the things that we do, some things that we tried, trial and error, what worked, what didn't work, and discuss those things. So without further ado, let's start off about what we eat. So the first point I want to make is that there is no biological fairness. By that meaning that there isn't a one-size-fits-all system. We've tried things that work different for us, and the main thing is that whatever type of diet that you're going to choose, just make sure it's something that you can stick with. If it's something where you have to restrict a lot of food and radically change your diet, from experience we learned you're not going to stick with it. One of the things that we started out was with keto, and first, Monique, what did you think about when we started doing the keto diet?
First of all, I thought it was nearly impossible because I come from a Caribbean background. Caribbean people, we love us some bread, we love us some rice and all of those things. So we load up on those carbs really well. So when David was like, yeah, we're gonna try this new diet / lifestyle where we're not gonna eat bread or pasta or, the high carbs. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I remember when we first started, that transition was not the prettiest, especially after we would do workouts. I remember feeling very low energy or maybe slightly faintish, but that's a part of the process. It's just something that you have to get through.
Yeah, some people call it the keto flu. Now, before I get too carried away, let's discuss what keto is. So the keto diet is short for ketogenic diet. And basically, it's a transition of turning your energy source that you use normally that comes from carbohydrates to body fat. And so basically, the way the diet works is you're going to eat a lot of meat and vegetables, and you avoid bread, sugar, any things like that. And mostly the bread is what you're avoiding and sugars. And so what that's supposed to do is put your body in this ketogenic state, and it makes it burn fat. In my experience, first, I want to say it absolutely works. But the problem with that is, like, let's say if you're an athlete or you're somebody who works very hard in the gym like we do, it's going to be very hard to have that energy source when you're avoiding that many carbs. And that was the thing that we experienced. We drop weight very quickly.
Yeah.
We drop body fat very quickly. I'm not saying I don't recommend keto, but I think that it's mostly intended for a short period of time. And maybe it can kickstart other types of diets. Or let's say you want to drop a couple of dress sizes for a wedding or something like that. Or just something in a short period of time. I think it's good for that. But long term, I'm not a big fan of it. We had a bad experience with it because it was just, well, we're losing body fat, but we had headaches and low energy. Another thing is that when you restrict carbs, you get bad breath. Not good for the newlyweds. So keto was one of those things that we weaned off of, and we tried something different that we really enjoy now and that we've been very consistent with.
And what I want to add here for you, the ladies out there, well, the body type that I have is I easily gain weight in my stomach. so the ketogenic diet was really good, like David stated, as far as quickly losing those pounds, seeing like a change in your stomach, etc., etc. So I definitely would recommend that for the ladies out there who tend to gain weight in the stomach area, if you want to kind of have like a quicker transition.
Well, yeah, that's definitely, you know, what she experienced, and she's always saying like, "Oh my goodness, I was so much bigger when you first met me.
Yeah.
How did you even love me?" And I was just like, first of all, you weren't big, and you're definitely, you know, you're slimmed out here, but your body just more in shape in the proportions. It wasn't that she was fat or anything before, but it definitely helped with some areas where she was holding body fat.
Yeah, definitely the stomach area for sure.
So from there, we transitioned to intermittent fasting. I am a big fan of
I
intermittent
love
fasting.
me some intermittent fasting.
So let's discuss what that is first. So what we do is call an 8-16 intermittent fast. And so we eat for 8 hours and we don't eat for 16. And that's pretty much the foundation of the diet. And one of the things that, if we're not so disciplined on our diet, we stay disciplined with our times. And that's one of the key things if you're just starting out. Because I think there's certain levels. And that first level is make sure that you get your body adjusted to that time. What time do you say? What time works for you? I'm a person that really doesn't eat a lot in the morning, where I'm not really that hungry in the morning. So my window of time that I like to choose is 1 to 9. We both do that. 1 to 9 is what works best for us. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, 1 to 9, like that's crazy. I can't eat only in that time. But what most people do is they do 10 to 6. Now that's pretty much a standard to how a lot of people eat. It's just stay disciplined. Don't go outside of that window. Don't go for that late night snack. But 10 to 6 is pretty reasonable for most people. So what do you think about that?
Well, okay, so with intermittent fasting, I think the biggest mistakes people make is, oh, okay, so I'm gonna eat during this 8-hour window, so that means I can eat anything, even if I'm working out. And that is a big no-no, okay? When it comes to working out or just having a healthier lifestyle, you still gotta do your due diligence when it comes to eating. So don't think, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this fasting and my body's in this fasted state, blah, 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 blah. That does not mean you get to load up on the sugar and all that other stuff or the other things that you feel are cheat meals or you know for a fact is not the best thing to eat. You still have to be diligent when it comes to eating. And then I think like for us, the reason why we have from the 1 to 9 is because we do mid-morning to late workouts. And so we work out on a fasted state, which there is a transition for that as well. It's not easy. I know for some people it's like, what? Working out fully on an empty stomach? There's no way I can do that. But once you get through it, I'm like, I don't know how people work out on a full stomach.
Correct. Like, I was very hesitant to work out fasted because I'd always worked out with a meal in my stomach there, and I thought that working out fasted would kill my energy. Actually, the opposite happens. Yeah. Like, when I'm working out fasted, I feel like lighter on my feet. I feel more clear. And when I have food in my stomach, I actually feel sluggish. It's worse now if I have food in there. So I would recommend that you try it out. It's not necessarily important to do it to get the benefits of the intermittent fasting, but it does help you get there a little bit quicker. So we like to make sure that we do those details. And before you get to your point here, I just want to let people know, if you're following us right now and you're trying to follow along and take notes, don't worry. I'm going to have a link in the description with a free meal plan, okay? You'll be able to click the link and I'll have a full PDF of everything that we discuss on what to eat, what not to eat, how does it work, because we do kind of a modified Discipline Dave intermittent fasting, and we're going to get to that here in a second.
And also for the ladies out there, again, so I'm one of those people who easily gain weight in the midsection area. When I work out in a fasted state, that helps tremendously, especially if you're going through the period of bloatedness right before your cycle and all those other things. To me, it's a game changer for us ladies, regardless. If you can get to a point where you can work out on an empty stomach, it'll be the best bet.
Yeah, those things I don't know. And so the other thing I want to get to about intermittent fasting is that let's talk about kind of what foods to avoid and what are some good foods. So the main thing is that you want to avoid sugar.
Yes.
Sugar is what I call good tasting poison, okay? It tastes good, but it's killing you. It is killing the results that you want for that physique. And so I would say the first thing you want to eliminate is sugars. And I know it's delicious and everything, but you don't realize how addicted you are until you get off of it. And then after a couple days, you won't even crave it anymore.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you get off of that. The other things is that you don't want to get rid of carbs. I know there's a big thing when it comes to we need to get rid of carbs. No, you don't want to go crazy with carbs, but you want to limit it somewhat, but don't go too much with it. And what we like to do with the disciplined day version of intermittent fasting is that we want to make sure that our first meal of the day is our healthiest meal. And the reason why is because that's when your body's the most insulin sensitive, and that's when your body's going to absorb the most nutrients. So we want to take advantage of that, because when you break a fast, that's when your body is going to really get all that nutrition. Because you've always heard the term that breakfast is your most important meal of the day. Well, I've modified that a little bit, is that your first meal is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
So when you're breaking a fast, make sure that that's your healthiest meal.
Now, normally how we do this is, and which is quite simply, if you guys are wondering, okay, how can we do this? You know, after the gym, you're dead tired. It's like, what? We're working out on an empty stomach. Is we do a green smoothie, protein shake.
And I'm going to have everything that we have as far as what we put in right here above my head. All right, if you can see that. And that's going to have everything as far as what we put in our shake, and it'll also be in the link that I'm going to send with that free meal plan.
Yes, so with this protein shake, it definitely is filling. What we found a lot of times, especially since, you know, we're such diligent people who work out, is not too long before it would fill me up and I would be good for a while. Now it's like the metabolism kicks in. It's like we have it, and maybe 20-30 minutes I'm like, I am starving. So it depends on where you are in your journey. We like that to be our first meal, hence why we say your first meal is your most important when it comes to breaking a fast. And why not make it your healthiest by including a green protein shake?
That's right. Now the other topic that my wife's she's gonna laugh at, is that what's very important, which I overlooked in the beginning of my process when it comes to getting in shape, was you want to drink a lot of water, okay? I'm talking a lot of water. I am a recovering Coca-Cola addict, okay? Because my mother collects Coca-Cola memorabilia since I was a kid, so my whole childhood was a walking advertisement. I mean, I was drinking 2-liter bottles to myself when I was like 6, and no one told me that was wrong. And so when Monique and I, when we first started dating, I was drinking Diet Coke. Here I am, an MMA fighter, and I was pretty decently in shape, but I wasn't at the level that I am now. But I was drinking sodas, diet sodas, just like crazy. And Monique, every time I went, I could see those eyes just judging me.
Oh yeah, I was giving him the straight side eye, or I would be vocal about it, or I'll say, when's the last time you had a drink of water? You know, and I'll never forget the one time I did this, and David just went off. He was like, let me drink what I want to drink. And I was like, all right.
I'm outside sweating all day. I want something cold.
I was like, okay.
I'm like, can I just have something to drink without feeling judged? But eventually, through all this toughness, and when she stayed on me, I gave in.
No, I wouldn't say me staying on you.
Okay.
It was me setting the example.
That's true.
The fact that you saw me, like, guys, if you know who I am, I literally carry a water bottle everywhere I go.
Her whole family does.
Right. We have our water bottles. And in fact, since David and I started dating and now we're married, I probably went through 7 water bottles or more, because since I carry them everywhere we go and I travel a lot, I easily forget them on the plane or in the bathroom or something, and I get so upset. So yes, what helps, guys, is if you have a water bottle, because psychologically, if you see that you finished it, it's like, oh, it's time for a new round.
Water expert. Yeah. See, and here's the thing that was surprising for me that I hate to admit, because my wife's right here, it actually wasn't hard. Like, I was like, I don't want water. It tastes like wet air. Like, that's what I would think. Like, you know, it's just, there's no flavor or anything. I prefer it now. So one of the things about the Discipline Day version of intermittent fasting is that you don't want to get your calories from liquids, okay? Because that's going to go straight to your bloodstream, spike your insulin, and it's going to trigger the body to hold fat, okay?
And this also includes alcohol, guys, when we're saying liquids. Even though we're focusing on soda, this includes those cocktails, those beers, or whatever it is that you like to enjoy.
Other thing is that what a lot of people think that are healthy are juices. So you want to cut out those juices too. I'm talking any calories that come from liquids. So I would recommend about a gallon a day, and you want to just make sure that you do that throughout the day. Don't do a gallon at once, because most of your body is actually water. And for your muscles to grow and for you to have that pump, you want to make sure that you have enough water hydrated throughout the day. So as soon as you wake up, drink some water, and as soon as you go to sleep, drink some water, and make sure you keep doing it throughout the day. So water is really that important. So let's talk about some other things that you can have liquid-wise. On intermittent fasting, it's okay to have coffee, but it has to be black coffee. Black coffee will not break a fast.
Nope.
There's no calories that come through that, and it will give you a little energy boost of performance when you're in the gym. So you can have black coffee. I wasn't a black coffee drinker until I started doing this, and now I prefer it. Monique's still not a black coffee drinker, but as an alternative,
yes,
green tea is great for it, okay? You can even do some black teas, but herbal tea, even though herbal tea is very healthy for you, a lot of it has fruit in it, and fruit is going to have calories and it's going to have sugar,
right.
And that's going to spike your insulin and have you hold fat. So make sure that if you're going to have tea, is that it's not an herbal tea with fruit in it, okay? But so you can do that as an alternative. And another thing that I like that Monique's not a really big fan of is soda water.
Fake water. I call it fake water. Okay, it's fake.
It's just carbonated water.
Just drink the water, man. Why gotta be carbonated or have flavor?
Because I like those bubbles. Because when I was a kid, drinking all the soda. So,
yeah.
And
fake
it's something about that cold can in my hand. It's like, especially I'm outside washing the car in the summer and I'm sweating. That cold can I really like. But soda water will not break a fast. So if you're like me and you're just trying to get off of soda here, soda water is going to be great. And they have some good flavor ones that have 0 calories. So the next thing that we kind of want to move on to is that let's talk about cheat days, okay? I know, right? Everybody wants to hear about that. See, I'm not a believer in cheat days. What I am a believer in is earned meal. So an earned meal, that's right, meal, not meals plural, okay? Earned meal. So what we like to do is that we work out 5 days a week. We take 2 days off. And if we complete our 5 days of a week workout, basically, if we do our workouts and we're disciplined about it, we don't skip, we don't make excuses or anything like that, we've earned that cheat meal, okay? And what we like to do is that we love Krispy Kreme donuts.
We want that double K.
We love
that
Krispy
KK.
Kreme. So we did this when we were dating, and we're still doing it as when we're married. What we like to do is we have the app, so we know when they're hot, and we'll drive there, and I'll get 3 original glaze, and Monique will get 3 raspberry filled.
Which is way worse. Mine has a whole lot more sugar, a whole lot more calories.
But hey, you earned it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've cut it down to 2 now. I don't really do 3. It's only if I'm really craving it.
And we eat it slow while it's warm in the parking lot. And then back in the day, we would watch Netflix in the car. So that's what we enjoy to do. So we make it fun, and it's something that we've earned, so we don't feel guilty about it. And so, you know, it's great to make sure that you stay focused throughout it. I wouldn't recommend doing an earned meal until, I'd say, about a month to a month and a half of being consistent, because you don't want to fall off the deep end and go crazy and get like, you know, a dozen. Like sometimes we go and they're like, you get a free dozen a day, and we're like, we just want 6, and they're like, are you sure? And we're like, no. But sometimes that happens, but we just try to make sure that we don't go overboard. So when it comes to the Discipline Day version of intermittent fasting, is that there's different levels, I would have to say. I would say if you want to go in with everything being super strict about your diet and stuff, that's great. But in our experience, we've learned that if you try to do it at different levels, it's going to be a lot more effective for you to do it long term. So let's talk about level 1. Level 1 is pick a time, stay with your time, okay? Don't deviate from the time, okay? That is going to really be something that is going to be important for your body to get adjusted to. And if that time doesn't work out for you, you can adjust that time, but don't keep doing different variations of that time.
Right.
Pick a time and stick to it.
I will say, like, for me, especially when we were just transitioning to doing intermittent fasting, I would play this game. Like, I'll start off, like David said, 1 o'clock and end at 9. Sometimes I would kind of cheat on that or wait till 3 o'clock or something, or go a little earlier. And then David made it sense. He's like, well, if you do that, you end up cheating yourself ultimately, because let's say you do 1 to 9, and then tomorrow you do 12 to 8. Like, you're messing up the whole time span.
Now, the next thing is for level 2, okay? We're going on level 2 now, is that what I like to follow in this model with the Discipline Day version of intermittent fasting is good, better, best, okay? The reason why I like the good, better, best method is because my job outside of being a YouTuber is I travel a lot. And with that, I don't have the best choices. But there's a good choice, and there's something that's a little bit better. I may not have the best, but just because the best choices are not there doesn't mean that you're just gonna let everything fall apart, okay? If you can stay on track with good, best, better, you can stay on track once you get home, or if you're away from the office. Well, all those different choices here, you need to look at food that way. Stop looking at food as healthy and not healthy, okay? Because that is going to lead to a lot of discouragement and you deviating from the diet. Look at food as good, best, better. So if you're out in the airport, or if you're at work and there's not the best choice, I'm pretty sure there's a good choice for you to have. Make sure you pick that choice. And I put a list of some good, better, best choices in the PDF file for the free meal plan that I have in the link below. Mm-hmm. So in the description, you can click that there and look at some different options there. So make sure that when you're looking at food, look at food that way. This isn't the best choice, but is there a better choice? Let me take a look. And so even when you're going out and there's things where you only have takeout or some type of fast food, all fast food isn't the same. There's some that will have a pretty decent choice, a good choice, not the best, but it will be a lot better than a Popeye's chicken sandwich, all right? So make sure you look at food that way. The third level, let's talk about that third level. The third level is gonna be eliminating sugars. And I put this at the third level because this could be very difficult for a lot of people, because sugar is very addictive. And so if you kind of start out that way, you may get very discouraged because you're used to giving yourself a reward at the end of the day or after a meal or something like that. So that third level to get you to the next level of fitness is going to be eliminating sugar.
Yeah, I would say sugar also ties a lot to emotion. I think that is the most emotional thing that we consume a lot of. And so for us ladies, you know, right before our cycle, we are craving for that sugar heavy. And that's been like an ongoing process. I still deal with this to this day when I know it's like, oh, I'm craving this sugar really badly. I have to really, you know, practice self-discipline. Or like David says, like sometimes he'll have his earned meal and say, you know, do you want some? And I'll have to turn it down because I just know. As a female who tends to easily gain in the midsection, and it's like right before the cycle, like that all can tie in. Before you know it, I just put on a whole bunch of weight, and then after I'm done with my cycle, it's like, oh, all this hard work I have to do to get back down. So I'm just giving, you know, the female perspective on this.
I understand. And now for our last level, that's gonna be the final level. This is if you're like, I've been super consistent, I've reached this plateau, and I wanna get that wow factor with my body. I want that 6-pack to show. I want that beach body. This is that final level, What's that?
The summer body.
The summer body.
The hot girl.
The hot girl.
Yeah.
Hot guy, girl. Both, you know? So that final level it's a little bit more tedious, but that's how you get there, is that it's counting calories, okay? Counting calories, I'm not the biggest fan of, but there's people out there who are either trying to, they're pretty fit, but they want those abs to pop. Because even with everything, and this has been consistent since the beginning of people trying to get in shape, is that having a calorie deficit is going to be the key to losing body fat. And so if you don't track what you're eating, it's going to be hard to get to that level. And now, because of technology, there's easy ways to track it. There's FitnessPal, where you can scan barcodes, you can enter in what you're eating, and you can get a gauge of how many calories that you're eating. And I know you may be asking, like, well, how many calories should I be eating? It's different for everybody. It depends on body weight, output. So I would recommend downloading the FitnessPal app there, and then it will get your weight and your height, and then you can see what you're eating throughout the day, and then you can slowly make changes to eliminate those calories, and you can make minor changes. And so those are some of the things that you can do to help you get to that next level on the Discipline Dave intermittent fasting.
Yeah, I would say the FitnessPal app is a game changer, especially for the complete newbies out there. I also like the fact that you can input your weight. They'll even notify you if you forget and say, hey, you know, you've been on a streak of doing this, and then, you know, you've kind of fallen off, so they'll remind you of stuff like that. But to me, I thought it was really cool that the barcode scanner, or you can look it up, like the restaurant or whatever, the restaurant feature, and, you know, put in the meal, and they kind of have a good estimate of the calories that you're consuming. So FitnessPal app, I mean, there's so many different apps, but that one, at least you can get started for free. They do have a premium version, but you can do a whole lot with just the free version.
And also, you can use an Apple Watch to track calories on a different level of output of calories. Because when you're in the gym, face it, there's going to be some days you're more motivated than others, and it's going to be hard to gauge how many calories that you're burning if you're not keeping track of that. So whether you have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, I prefer the Apple Watch, but any one of those things that's measuring heart rate and everything, it's going to show you what your output is. And that way, on the days when you feel like you're slacking and you're just like going through the motions, you'll know if you're going through the motions because you'll see your calories aren't matching up to your previous days. And that way you can be consistent with that data. This pretty much concludes what to eat. Remember, go ahead and click that link for that free meal plan, and that way everything that we discuss you'll have on paper and look and be able to go over it and just know exactly what to eat to get you to that good physique that you've been looking for. Anything to add, Monique?
And if you love the fact that I was on this amazing YouTube channel, be sure to hit the like and subscribe and bell notification. And let us know in the comments down below if you would like more videos like this. I feel like another great episode we could do is just talk about our fitness journey, like the stories that we have and all this. Because, you know, even though people, they see us, we're constantly putting out content. And, you know, I know y'all see my husband's upper half naked body a lot.
Hello.
You know, it's never been a perfect picture. And I will say David has helped me so much in my physical fitness journey, and I'm very appreciative of that. But, you know, it's not always pretty, you know, picture. There's been ups and downs, etc., etc. So I think it would be great for us to talk about our fitness journey and how it's affected our relationship, etc., etc. So let us know in the comments down below what you think, first off, of what we shared in this video, and also if you would like to see more videos like this.
Yeah, let us know if you would like a video like that there. We definitely read the comments there, and we do this channel for you. So, Monique, thank you for joining. I love that you were able to give your perspective, especially out there to the female listeners, and some things that even I didn't know that are challenges for you when it comes to what to eat.
All right.
Thank you. Follow me on Instagram at Discipline Dave. And Monique, let people know what your Instagram is. Where can they find you?
I'm at Monique O. Johnson.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.